Changing the calendar year is a big challenge for any school, but does the switch really improve learning? Joining us now are David Hornak of the National Association for Year-Round Education, along with Christine Campbell, the president of the West Virginia chapter of the American Federation of Teachers. Thanks to you both for joining us. David, you've got a couple schools in your district on a year-round schedule. Why are you such a fan of this approach?
I'll tell you, we know firsthand the benefits to the balanced school calendar. Students and staff that operate on the calendar are able to take breaks more frequently, and we know when we have students that are able to be actively engaged in learning, they're going to be more prepared to navigate the curriculum moving forward. Couple that with the fact that we have our faculty that are able to be reflective practitioners. They're able to look back at where they've been and look forward to where they're going with these periodic breaks. We find it's a great match.
Christine, you guys also have schools in your district on year-round calendars. Is it a good approach and a good fit for everybody, and what are some of the downsides?
We do have a couple schools in one district that are on a balanced calendar. We have a couple schools that were and have gone back to the traditional calendar based on the fact that it's the logistics of it really don't work for multiple districts, for changing from one to the other with all of the things that we have to coordinate statewide.
Yeah. You know, it is interesting, David, that the argument over this approach really seems to be more about logistics than learning. The evidence on the learning is actually pretty mixed, right? You know, this has been debated for years. It's not clear that year-round schooling actually helps outcomes.
The newest research is very, very clear. Outcomes for the students that are operating on the balanced school calendar are outperforming the students on the traditional calendar. On average, a teacher on the traditional calendar is required to reteach between 4 and 8 weeks annually after the summer intermission. If you were to combine that over time, what you're going to find is students entering high school could be a year to a year and a half behind their counterparts on the balanced school calendar. And I just wonder, why do we keep having the debate regarding adult issues in many cases?
Christine, is the evidence clear in your view, or is the jury still out?
Well, and aside from the logistical problems, there are so many other things that actually also improve student achievement. And those are some of the things that we're working on in West Virginia. And that is providing wraparound services through community schools. It's an opportunity to some of the summer programs that we used to have that improve literacy and actually connect college students to elementary school students are federally funded. In the summer, they're opportunity for federal funded programs, but in the intersessions, it falls down on the locals. And so the resources it takes to provide some of those programs, we don't necessarily have in our rural areas.
That's the final element of this, David. The cost issue. You guys yourselves have had budget challenges. Is year-round schooling more expensive?
You know, the reality behind this is yes, we have lots of resources that are being directed at our schools. I just wonder if we would be able to repurpose those resources in another way if we didn't continually be challenged by the summer slide or that summer learning loss that occurs annually. And I would wager that if we could repurpose the funds that we're putting into closing those learning gaps that we are in fact creating by operating on the traditional calendar, I just wonder what education would look like in the future.